Okay, this is again 2017 15 marks, which is a case study question. So I will just read out the question. Please listen to it carefully. The following is a position of Har company as on 1/1/2015, and this is a capital structure. They've told you 6,000 5% preference shares of 100 each fully paid, which is 6 lakh, 1,600 class A shares of 100 each fully paid equity 1,60,000, 4,000 class B shares of rupees 100 each, only 80 paid up, again equity 3,20,000. So we have two classes of equity shares. Class 1 is 1,600, class 2 is 4,000. Liabilities, 6% debenture value is given 3 lakh, mortgage on building is 80,000. So please mark this mortgage on building. Preferential creditor is 20,000, unsecured creditor is 1,80,000. Both has been given separately for you. Okay, it is not included. Preference creditor separately it is 20, unsecured creditor it is separately 1,80,000. Assets realized, again building value is given 2,50,000. Remember there is mortgage on building. Okay, here if you see it is mortgage on building 80,000, and here again you have assets realized building. I'll tell you how you have to do this. Other assets 10,30,000, bank 60,000. Company went into voluntary liquidation on 1/1/2015. Preference dividend was in arrear for 1 year. Okay, preference shares have priority over class A and class B shares. Okay, cost of winding up is 7,800, which is nothing but your liquidation expense. Both means the same. Liquidator is entitled to a commission fixed 25% on the amount paid to unsecured creditors. So you know what you have to do. You have to check how much balance you have and decide whether you have to use first formula or second formula. All the payments were made on 1/10/2015. Similar problem we have done. So whenever you have information on a separate date given, this date should be considered when you're giving interest on debentures. Okay, please keep that in mind. When will you consider this? When you're giving interest on debenture. Now, you are required to prepare liquidator's final statement of account, comment on the solvency of a company. Can company pay debenture interest up to the date of payment? If yes, give justification. If no, give justification. Okay. Now it's a case study problem, but the pattern is the same. Only thing you have 2-3 additional questions where you have to write it in a theory format. Okay. So we'll just start with the problem and I'll tell you how you have to go about it. So this is 2017 15 mark case study. A similar type of problem we have already solved. Okay, so first we start with writing what? Cash in hand or cash at bank. Now there is an information which says under assets realized as bank. So that is nothing but your cash at bank, and the amount given is 60,000. Okay, then I write my surplus. Okay, to surplus from secured creditors. Okay, now this information is not directly given for you, but it is the information which is given on building. This represents my secured creditors. Why it is representing as your secured creditors? See, mortgage on building means I have pledged building and I have taken a loan. Under liabilities, you have an information on mortgage. Means it is my secured creditors. Okay, so I have kept my building as an security and I have taken a loan of how much? Of 80,000. Now how much is that building sold for? Now the building is sold for 2,50,000. I had taken a loan of 80,000, but now the building is sold for 2,50,000. So there is a surplus. There is a profit. Here, whenever you don't have information on directly about secured creditors, please check the problem. If you have information on mortgage on building, mortgage on land, or mortgage on furniture, that represents your secured creditors. Okay, so you should always remember that. Here in this problem we have mortgage on building, so it is my secured creditors. I had taken a loan of 80, but now the building has been sold for 2,50,000, so there is a surplus. How will you calculate the surplus from secured creditors? So I had sold it for 2,50,000 and I had taken a loan of only 80,000. So 2,50,000 minus 80,000 will give 1,70,000. Okay, so this surplus from secured creditors, please remember. Then we write what? As usual, we write assets realized. They have given two other assets realized, that is 10,30,000. Do not write building value of 2,50,000 here. Why? Because building is treated as my secured creditors. So do not show it under other assets realized. This kind we have already done, so please refer that problem. Whenever an asset is pledged, whenever an asset is mortgaged, do not show it under other assets realized. We only show the surplus value. We only show the difference amount, not the original amount. Okay. So receipt side is done. We'll go for the payment side. So by liquidation expense or cost of winding up, both means the same. So cost of winding up given is 7,800. Then I write liquidators remuneration. So you have two remuneration. One is fixed. Fixed remuneration is 20,000. The other remuneration is 5% on unsecured creditors. Okay. So you know how you have to do if it is on unsecured creditors. But before doing the calculation, remember we have information on debenture. So write the debenture holders and then calculate the remuneration. How much is the debenture holders given in the problem? They have directly told 6% debentures is 3 lakh. Okay. And remember you should also give them the interest. So by interest is how much? 3 lakh 6%. But remember they have told you all the payments are made up till 1/10/2015. And the company is winding up when? On the company is winding up on 1/1/2015, but the payments are made up till 1/10/2015. So calculate from January to September. Okay, do not consider October because October is starting only 1/10. So we have to calculate only till September. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 9 months. So 9/12. Okay, 3 lakh 6%, 9/12 will give you 13,500 as an interest. This calculation also we have done. So please refer that. Okay, now up till here we have done. Now you have to calculate for your unsecured creditors. So the same thing continues. We calculate how much is the amount available, how much is the amount given. Then we decide which formula we use. Everything else is the same. So I'm writing here as a working note. And this working note is for 5% on unsecured creditors. Okay. So how much is the amount given in the question? For unsecured creditors, amount given in the question is, for unsecured creditors, amount given in the question is 1,80,000. But remember, whenever you're giving your remuneration calculation, I told you it should be unsecured creditors plus preferential creditors. Both the amount should be included. So here it is 1,80,000 plus 20. So actually I'm supposed to give on 2 lakh. Okay, so far the problems, whatever we have seen, it will be included. In this 1,80,000 itself, 20,000 will be included and that will be given in the problem. But here it is not included. They have given you separately how much is unsecured and how much is preference. So whenever you're calculating your remuneration, you should give on these two amount together. So that is why I have taken it as 2 lakh. And then we compare it with the actual available balance in the problem. Okay, how do you calculate your actual available balance? Again, receipts minus payment. So which are the receipts you have? We have 60,000 cash at bank, 1,70,000 surplus, 10,30,000, which is your assets realized. From this, I am supposed to minus my payment of 7,800, then 20,000 fixed remuneration, then debenture holders 3 lakh, then debenture interest 13,500. Okay, this is receipt and this is payment. 60 plus 1 lakh 70, 10 lakh 30 minus 7,800, 20,000, 3 lakh and then 13,500. You get 9,18,700. So now check which formula you have to use. Amount given is 2 lakh. My available balance is 19,80,000. So I have more balance with me. So definitely I will use first formula. If my available balance was less than 2 lakh, I would have used second formula. Since I have more balance, I am using first formula. What is the first formula? Remuneration is equal to amount given in the question, that is 2 lakh into 5%. So 2 lakh 5% is 10,000. So your remuneration is 10,000. So here 5% unsecured creditors I am writing as 10,000. Okay. Now we'll continue with the problem further. After this I write preferential creditors. Okay. Preferential creditors is 20,000 given separately. Then I write unsecured creditors. Before you write unsecured creditors, please check whether you have available balance. Yes, there is more balance. So I am writing 1,80,000. Do not write 2 lakh again because 20 is already written. So write 1,80,000 for unsecured creditors. Then write preference share capital. Okay. So now when you write your preference share capital, please check whether you have balance or what. So just 12,60,000 this side minus 7,800, then 20, 10, 3 lakh, 13,500, 20,000, 1,80,000. Yes, you have 7,08,700. So I have more balance. So I can give preference share capital of 6 lakh. Okay. Now they also told you there is arrears of preference dividend. So buy preference dividend which is in arrear for only 1 year. Okay, so 6 lakh into 5%. So preference dividend arrear is 30,000. Okay, then finally I write my equity shareholders. So remember, when you write equity shareholders, we have class 1 and we have class 2. So you know what you have to do for class 1 and class 2. So first we'll check the available balance. 12,60,000 minus all these figures. Okay, you have available balance of 78,700. We'll see how you have to give the 78,700. How much you have to pay for class 1 and how much you have to pay for class 2. By now you should be thorough with this calculation of deficiency, because from last 4 or 5 problems we are doing the same thing. Okay, so here I'll write my second working note. Amount to be paid to equity shareholders. Class 1, how many shares are there for class 1? 1,600 shares. Okay, which is at rupees 100 each. They have fully paid, so it is 1,60,000. Class 2, 4,000 shares at rupees 100 each, but only 80 paid. So 4,000 into 80 is 3,20,000. So the total amount to be paid for equity shareholder is 4,80,000. Okay, from which I have to minus how much is the actual available balance. actual available balance, when we had taken from receipts minus payment, we got only 78,700. So this 4,01,300 represents my deficiency. Deficiency for how many shares? 1,600 plus 4,000, 5,600 shares. My deficiency is 4,01,300. Therefore, deficiency per share. How will you calculate deficiency for per share? 4,01,300 divided by 5,600. You get 71.66 rupees per share. This is a deficiency. Now start from writing class 1. Class 1 deficiency per share is 71.66 minus already paid. How much did class 1 already pay? Class 1 have already paid 100. So they have paid more. 71.66 minus 100 is 28.34. It is 28.34. Now my requirement is only 71 rupees, but they have paid me 100 rupees. They have paid me 28 rupees more. So what should I do with this extra amount? This extra amount should be returned. If it is returned means where should you write? You should write under payment side. Okay. Coming to class 2. Deficiency per share is again 71.66 minus already paid. How much did they already pay me? They have already paid me 80 rupees. Again, they have paid me more than my requirement. How much is that? They have paid me 8.34 rupees extra they have paid. Okay, my requirement is only 71 rupees, but they have paid me 80 rupees. Means 8 rupees they have paid me extra. So what will I do with this extra? This has to be returned. So I am writing it where? I am writing it under payment side. Okay. So how many shares for class 1? 1,600 shares at rupees 28.34. So 1,600 into 28.34, you will get 45,344. This side 4,000 shares at rupees 8.34. So 4,000 into 8.34, it is 33,360. Okay, so coming back to the format. Class 1, I will write 45,344. Class 2, I will write it as 33,360. Okay, so just check the total. You will get a point differences, that is because of approximation only. Okay, not to worry about it. Okay, so you will get 12,60,004 rupees, but that is fine. We can write it as 12,60,000 only because of the rounding off. Because of this rounding off, you have got 4 rupees extra, but you can write it as 12,60,000. So this problem is for 15 mark. Remember, your problem is not over. Okay, they have asked us to calculate your. You are required to prepare liquidator's final statement. So final statement is done. What is the second question? Comment on the solvency of a problem. What is solvency? What I have explained you in first class. When the company can pay all the debts, we call that company to be a solvent company. So here, if you have observed in this problem, the company is able to pay to their preference shareholders, and the remaining balance is what is given to the equity shareholders. So I write my conclusion as the company is a solvent company. Why? Because all outside liabilities can be paid out of cash available. Correct? Because I did not ask any extra amount from the equity shareholders. Means there are no contributories in this problem. So I am considering this company as a solvent company. Next question they have asked is, can company pay debenture interest up to the date of payment? If yes, give justification. If no, give justification. So if we have observed in the problem, we have paid the interest up till 9 months. Correct? So we can write it as yes. What is the justification? It will be the same justification only. So I am writing it as yes, because company is solvent and the debenture interest can be paid up to 1/10/2015. I can pay up to 9 months because it is a solvent company. That is why I have given it as yes. Okay, so this is your 15 marks problem case study. Most of the year's question paper you will have case studies from liquidation chapter only. Okay, so please don't skip out on this chapter. If you have any doubts, you can ask.